I am hungry for some arts.
Oh, well, that is so convenient.
Why is that?
I've got the project for you today.
Do you?
I do. I'm going to talk about art gobblers today.
Gobble, gobble. Let's do it.
Grab a snack. Let's go. Welcome. If you guys are new here, we bring you content on NFTs, Web3, digital art, everything in that space. So please be sure to like and subscribe. So art gobblers, today I wanted to talk about who's behind the project details, like market trade and volume a little bit, and then also the tea around the unethical mint, and then plus some more.
Spill the tea, girl.
Yeah. So to kick things off, Art Gobblers is done by Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty fame. So he's the guy that voices Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith. So Rick Sanchez is the grandpa, and then the grandson is Morty. And then Justin also serves as a co-writer and executive producer alongside another guy, Dan Harmon. I'm assuming most people know that already. But what you may not know is that this is actually not his first NFT project. So, yeah, were you aware of that? His first NFT project was in January of 2021, and it was a dozen artworks in the collection, and they were called The Best I Could Do. And so all of these sold at auction, and his highest selling piece was this first one, the Smittens, for $290,000, as you can see here. But this collection as a whole, so all of these pieces together, ended up selling for $1.65 million. So he's got some success in this space.
I'm sorry. I've got to go. I'm doing my life wrong.
Seriously.
I'm going to need to make some sketches with some nipples hanging out that are
$1.65 million. No big deal. Justin is the creative brain behind the project, and then Paradigm is the tech behind the projects. I don't know if you're familiar with Paradigm, but they really are the protocol and the technology behind this whole project. And you'll see, just based on some of the art direction of this site, it will make sense in just a little bit because you'll see some of the same styling throughout. That's who's behind the project. The project itself, Art Gobblers, here's the site. It's a decentralized art factory owned by aliens. But I had no idea how much of an ecosystem was built into this project. So the Art Gobblers, they eat art that artists draw using a draw tool. And so you can basically create your own art to create these one-of-one NFTs using in-game resources. So the in-game resources are called Goo. We're going to talk all through this, but this is actual artwork that was drawn by just normal people using this draw tool. And so if we take a look at the draw tool, this is pretty cool. You'll really appreciate this. You can go in, and I'm assuming most people are maybe using a tablet to do this, but you can create layers up to 5. You've got a few different brush options. You can change colors. So it really is like a little mini Photoshop that allows you to create your own artwork.
Let's not go that far. It's a little mini kid art. Nobody, probably half our audience doesn't even know what that is. Or
potentially.
Paint.
Yes, paint
Paint
is better. Paint is better, yeah.
Yeah.
But there have been some really great work. Somebody created this using that tool.
Okay,
and
that's impressive.
Right, yeah. There's some really impressive artwork that's coming out of this tool. And when I was playing with it and doing my research, I also gave it a go. This is what I created.
That is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I think it is worth at least $1 million.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I used just the trackpad on my laptop, nothing else.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. And what's really cool is, so it generates a link that you can save, that you can access it again. I don't have a profile on here, so it shows up that I am a non. And then I can glaminate this page if I am an NFT holder. I don't really know what that means, but I don't have access because I'm not a holder. So that is where this artwork is coming from, that the Art Gobblers are gobbling up. The mint happened on October 31st. The initial mint was free, which is why there's a little bit of fuss around some of the pricing and what's going on in the market right now. And the mint consisted of 2,000 fully animated Gobblers. Now, they're not done with the 2000. They've got a whole system in place so that over the next 10 years, players will spend goo, which is like their in-game token, to mint 8,000 more Gobblers. And then they also have an economic system called VRGDA, VRGDA, and it is like how all of this goo is issued. And there's a lot going on within this. And if anybody is interested, they break it down by accessing either the FAQ or their green paper here. So this is the green
paper.
Yeah, which makes sense. The green paper breaks down just the project, how the systems work, and then it really gets into things like the goo, so the token behind the project, and then their variable here, the mechanism for how all of this works. So if you're very interested and if you're so inclined, definitely take a look at this. But if you want just the quick and dirty, the FAQ is where to go. The biggest thing is the goo here, which is the green substance that art gobblers love to shoot out of the hoses on their backs. So there we have the goo. And obviously you can learn more about it in the paper. The value of goo will change over time, and it becomes worth less as the game goes on. The goo itself, as they say here, you'll be able to teleport into more Gobbler NFTs or produce blank pages. And so basically you would use the goo to buy the pages that you create the art on. So they don't just come for free. Not just everyone can create them. You have to have the goo in order to do that. You have to have the NFT in order to generate the goo. And it does not make sense to own goo if you don't own a Gobbler, because again, it's just going to diminish in value. And so you could just invest in something that's going to go to zero. So
I love that up front. They're just like, it's going to zero. So
yeah, just don't do that. Yeah. So over the next 10 years is their roadmap to issue 8,000 more Gobblers. So there's just not a ton in circulation, only 2,000. But what I think is very interesting is obviously this is a game sort of mechanism where you've got your NFT, you've got your goo, you've got the way that this works with the variable. But to date, only 13 NFTs have gobbled artwork. So it's not working, in my opinion. So 99% of gobblers haven't gobbled anything yet. And maybe it's because things are early, but we then get into some of the market trade-ness that's going on. So OpenSea right now, we can see that the price is 3.82 from a floor standpoint, but when it initially, after mint, started to make its way to the marketplace, we were looking at 16.28. That thing pumped, and it's just been going down, increasing.
That is painful to look at.
Yes. And we take a look at the holders. So we got holders versus whales versus blue chip holders, and the blue chips have held steady. There's been a little bump in whales, and then just holders in general have just been going in a slight decrease. Owner distribution. Okay, so we've got 762 total owners on a 2,000 collection. So
everybody has that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's 72% have one, so 557. And then 0.5% have 51 plus. I don't know who that person is. I don't know what they're doing.
Somebody really gobbled them up.
They sure did. I see what you did there. So this leads us into the ethics around the mint. The allow list for art gobblers is where a little bit of the drama comes into play. They had mint list spots, and as you can see, we've got 300 that are allocated to initial contributors of the project. And then the 17 other 100 spots are out to the community. So collaborators, artists, collectors, builders, contest winners, and lucky individuals. And people really started to take a look at who ended up being on this allow list. And people were really complaining that several people in the community, like well-known influencers, were a part of this list. So we've got...
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and coin this influencer nepotism. Yes.
So Pranksky, Andrew Wang, K Money, Vincent Van Dough, Farouk, just to name a few. There has been an interesting sort of debate around like this influencer allow list as a whole. And somebody had brought up a topic on defending the influencers for taking the action in which they did, by basically saying they have spent all of this time and energy creating this following for themselves. So why not let them have a win? And I think it's interesting because we've got K Money here who basically took to Twitter and said, I get one single win in the last 14 plus months in the NFT space. And now he's a pizza. Mm-hmm. You know, he is saying he's defending himself, which I get. But then he also has gone on to tweet this on October 31st, the day of the mint, that basically is asking for Roke to sell to pump the number for what they're actually selling for in secondary. You can have your opinion on influencers, whether you love them or dislike them, and whether they should have been on an allow list or not. But I don't know. It seems like a majority of the people who are on that allow list have held. There are a few people who did sell immediately, like K Money. And he did acknowledge that 15 ETH is a meaningful amount of money to him. So he can do what he wants, but it does just leave a bad taste, I think, in people's mouths. So the other thing that is happening within this project outside of the allow list drama is pedophilia claims.
Okay. I heard some buzz about this on Twitter, and I just saw some really beat around the bush posts about something going on. Like, what?
The pedophilia claims come from people just not liking Justin Roiland to begin with. Like some of the characters or storylines that he's actually produced, they make claim that he just really has some pedophilia tendencies of his own. Take that for what it is. The same thing with South Park. It's a certain kind of comedy. You can argue it all day long. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm not trying to argue that point. The pedophilia claim comes from this Web3 influencer, Andrew here, posing as a 13-year-old boy. So the team behind Art Gobblers had reached out to him and asked him to be the person behind this Balthazar Crumps account. And he is a teenage boy. And he ran the account successfully. And people are saying, we knew that this wasn't a 13-year-old kid behind this project the entire time. But where the issue comes into play is that the NFTs for Art Gobblers as a whole are just not safe for work, basically. He was not aware of this. He never saw any of the NFTs until they actually were minted and revealed, just like everyone else. So he's saying he never would have done this had he known that in the first place. And so people are defending him to an extent, but then there's the other side of the conversation where people are saying, well, Justin Roiland is just this person anyway. He has history behind this. This is the pedophilia tea that people are in a tizzy about.
I see. Well, yeah.
It's just that a teen image was used essentially inappropriately with these NFTs, but the guy behind it, he was posing as a 13-year-old. It is crypto Twitter. We had a recent episode where we're talking about men impersonating women. Also, there's catfishing. You never know.
But also, this is not me defending pedophilia, but this is an emerging art form where we could potentially have characters voiced by anonymous people on the internet. And I haven't seen the extent of this guy's post, but like the one I'm reading here, I think that's kind of funny. I don't think that's like something that seems inappropriate. It seems like a cartoon joke, but also I grew up on South Park, so you can't listen to me. I don't know if the times have changed enough that is like a big no-no.
And I did go so far as to take a look at this Twitter account when I was pulling all this together, and it's either been it just has so few followers, so I don't know if the account has been taken down or if I found a fake account. I just couldn't find much behind it at this point. Right. So there might be some cleanup that's happening behind the scenes as well.
It sounds like there's something bad enough that happened for people to buzz about it on Twitter. So I'm just going to take people's response. Yeah. So it was probably bad, but I don't know.
The guy behind it, this Andrew person, I'm calling him Andrew, I'm assuming that's Andrew. He did make a statement for himself addressing everything. And again, just saying he took a call. He didn't draw the character. It was just given to him. And he was like, hey, that's kind of weird. It's a teen, but they didn't let him know that there was going to be explicit content in the NFTs. But he does take full responsibility and basically says along the lines that he was naive. He should have maybe asked a few more questions. I think he really did learn a lesson here. But
well, it sounds like maybe also some people were a little jelly that they didn't get one.
I 100% think so. The allow list had been open for a while. I think in the FAQs, it talks about when it actually opened. And it does seem to be like a bit of a grind to get onto it, but it's like people found out about it or realized it too late. Like they missed out. And I think exactly like what you said, it's just they're mad.
Yeah, you guys are salty, but also don't do any perverted stuff involving children. But
yeah, I agree. It's
but
yet again
but also wait, what is that show on Netflix that is like the
Big
perverted
Mouth?
Big Mouth? Like
I see, I knew exactly.
I've watched Big Mouth, and I'm like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm kind of uncomfortable, but also I think it's hilarious. And I'm like, it's cartoons, and I know that it's adults behind the scenes talking, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think that's inappropriate, and I don't think any of those actors are trying to push a pedophilia agenda. I think they're just making funny adult content. But yeah, maybe this is where the line gets drawn that if you're going to be doing an account like that, it has to be, there's to be a warning of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix it. It's like the Web3 is the wild, wild west. We're all kind of just figuring it out as we go. But
yeah.
I do have one last question for you. I think we should do the scientific rating system.
Mm-hmm.
The official glue rating system.
Okay.
Knowing that it is already minted out and you know that it was free, that it pumped, and now what the price is right now, the game mechanism or mechanics behind it. 1 glue sniff, meaning it's not going to take much for you to buy in, all the way up to 3. You're going to need a lot more sniffs of that glue. Where do you fall?
I'm going to go with 2 glue sniffs. I think I probably would have been a 1 glue sniff at the initial mint.
Yeah.
Like I would have to have it, but I think the price right now is really high, and I see this continuing to deprecate. I do think it's really cool. Like I haven't seen anything like this, and I think that the mechanics of what they've set up is amazing, but I do think that like seeing that artists aren't really drawing a lot of things, and like it's not
no one's gobbling.
Nobody's gobbling makes me wary. And also I think if you're a good enough artist, why would you just throw your artwork into this project when you could just sell it yourself as an NFT?
Yeah.
But again, 2 glue sniffs because I like the innovation, and I think it's really cool what they've come up with. And we also gotta like dance around that pedophilia thing, so I can't go. I don't know what happened there 100%. I don't know. If it's really bad, then it's absolutely a 3 glue sniff.
Yeah. I would say I agree with you. I'm probably like a 2.5. I think it's the price right now is way high, and knowing that there will be 8,000 more coming out at some point. Yeah. And the fact that no one's really using the gobbler mechanism yet is kind of like a bummer. But you made a great point where if a really great artist is creating art on here, why do it for free when you could just create and make your own collection? So I would say probably on the higher end of the sniffs.
Yeah, higher end of the sniffs.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, we have done it. We have brought another episode. Please be sure to leave us a comment if you guys have any additional tea on art gobblers, or if you've purchased, what that community is like. And be sure to follow us on social media. We are very active and like to carry on the conversation there. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we just love doing this for you guys.
We do. And also, every like and subscribe helps us to keep creating content for you.
Yes. Awesome. We'll see you guys in the next one.